'cause they find me out when I let it go, yeah. When I let it go, yeah. Then I let it go, oh, oh, yeah. I let it all go now, I let it go, hey. Now I let it go, whoa, 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 whoa. I let it go.
That's right. We're live, everybody. We are in the building. It's Tuesday evening. We're up and running. We got everything working. Hopefully everybody can hear us. Hopefully everybody can see me and Moon right next to me. If you can, put your ones up in the chat. Hit that like button. We're watching Young Lion TV.
Young lion, everywhere I look, they dying. Everywhere I look, they dying. Young lion, everywhere I look, they dying. Everywhere I look, they dying. Young lion, won't you get up and stop fighting? Everywhere I look, they're hiding. Young lion.
Yes, sir. So yeah, we got people in the chat already saying good evening. Emma said what's up. Courtney said what's up. Courtney now I got to shout you out, Courtney, because Courtney became one of our newest Patreon members. She's been watching every week, and she signed up at the Young Lion level, the $20, which is a big deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She supported.
That's huge.
So, but then this week she upgraded that to the Lion King level.
Yep. Wow.
It went to 50 on us. So we appreciate that support. That's huge. So again, we're gonna bring you your T-shirt to the show on the 27th. We really appreciate that.
No Emma.
What about Emma?
Because you were gonna give him his T-shirt, but he wasn't.
He
there.
wasn't there. Yeah, I didn't see Emma this weekend. I had your T-shirt waiting for you, Emma, at soccer, but we didn't see you. Emma's in the building too. He said hello, guys. What's up, Emma? And for some reason your Cash App didn't go through. I don't know why, but if you wanna retry that again for your T-shirt, brother, we will have one for you. Courtney said, "One love, brothers. Always keep doing what you're doing." We appreciate that. It's people like y'all that see the value in what we're doing that keeps us going, and it's our duty to follow what God has directed us to do that keeps us going as well. So we, it's amazing to us every time people see the value in this and they get benefit from it. So we appreciate y'all. And if you're watching right now and you're just checking in, because there's a lot of people that watch this but they never comment. We always hear after the fact, like, I was watching. Listen, hit that share button.
They're scared to comment.
You don't got to comment. Just hit the like button. Hit that like
Share
button.
it.
Hit that share button. I know that's a little scary too, because then your friends, gotta.
The algorithm is like.
Your friends are gonna know what type of stuff you watch and some of this stuff is controversial.
What it does is it creates good conversations.
It does. It does. It opens up dialogue.
Yeah.
We've noticed that with a lot of people. Is that like a lot of the people that have known us for a long time, sometimes they hear the stuff that we talk about and they're like, wait, what? Where did y'all get to? How did you get to this? And then it opens up that dialogue to be able to, change perspectives on things, which is always a good thing. But if you're in that chat, again, hit that share button, hit the like button, help us out. The algorithm does not like us. It does not favor us. So the only way that we can keep growing this thing is if y'all support. And if y'all can share this, that means more than anything else. So I got Moan with me. We're both rocking the Young Lion shirts today.
Real quick.
What's up?
I love how you have my favorite Doritos just facing me.
That's right. And I opened it up. Just so it could that cheese dust can just. This is like become one of my favorite flavors, the spicy sweet chili. I don't know if y'all know
purple
about
bag.
Yeah, that purple bag, man.
Yeah, they're good.
It is good. Yeah. MSG, baby.
MSG and
Oils.
seed oils.
That's why I gotta stay away right now.
But Moan's with me. I got Stan and Jake on the other side. I know we were talking about being in the new studio this week. I got a couple things that held me up with like furniture delivery and things like that held up the process. So
whatever.
Yeah, but I'm saying next week it's coming. It's coming. I'm really, really pushing for next week to be the first time we're in the new studio. And we got John. He doesn't have a camera today. He's here producing.
Why?
he's got a big grin on his face right now because he specifically said he doesn't want a camera today because he can't. As soon as he walked in the building, we were like, "Bro, what did you do?" He like shaved off all his facial hair because he messed up when he was shaping up his mustache, and then had a whole debacle afterwards. So it just he went
clean sheet.
You know how
right
when
now.
you got to start all over, you look funny. So he was just like, I don't want a camera today. So send John some love in the chat.
I wanted to set his camera up, but
Nah, he said no camera today. George,
shout out to James. Shout out to Stan Golden's watching.
Oh,
hey,
hello. Stan Golden.
Hello, Stan Golden.
Shout out to George.
Yeah,
What's
George
up,
said
George?
Tuesday vibes, fam. Yeah, man, this the Tuesday vibes.
Yeah.
Bro, like people don't understand how much of a struggle it is just to be consistent.
Yeah.
Like just to make sure we do this.
Yeah.
Every week if we can. You know what I mean? If we're available, we try to get this in every week.
Yeah.
So I mean, I got mad respect for people that do this every day, you know.
Yeah.
Even though it's like it becomes your job. It becomes like what you
Right.
do. So I understand that like it could become the way you make revenue or whatever. So
MSA, can y'all check your Cash App again?
Oh, okay. I'll check it again, brother. But we appreciate it, man. We appreciate it anyway. You support. Mom said hi, everyone. What's up, Mom?
Hey, Mom.
Thank you for checking in. Again, guys, share the video. We're talking about support and everything. So if you really appreciate the conversations that we have, the things that we talk about, because it's scary for people to talk about them. So this is a place where we can all come together and bounce ideas off of each other, bring up questions, talk about things that we've seen throughout the week, things that are going on in the world, things that are going on spiritually, naturally, physically, everything, and just like hash it all out. Sharpen each other's ideas, iron sharpens iron type vibe. So that, and we do this all the time anyway. So our idea with this podcast was just to bring that to everybody.
Yeah.
But if you want to support that, we do have a Patreon. We're talking about all the young lions that have signed up, that are, a part of the Pride. And you can sign up and become a part of that if you go to our patreon.com/youngliontv. And there is a bunch of different tiers that you can sign up for. We were just talking about how Courtney just upgraded her to the top tier, which we really appreciate. That's the Lion King level. But there's other tiers for whatever you want to support. And all of that is going towards us bringing you more consistent content, which is what our goal is, and what our mission is to be more consistent and bring more value, more content, more, just value to everyone who's a part of this community, not just with the content of us here talking about things, but also in other ways where we've been bouncing those ideas off each other, how we can continue to bring value to everybody who's a part of this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you don't want to be a Patreon member, you can always just throw a couple of dollars to the Cash App and donate. Emma was just talking about that, and that's just Young Lion TV, $ Young Lion TV on Cash App. You can support that way as well. Also, if you like the T-shirts, like Stan has a great Jatan T-shirt on right there. If you can't see it right now because the camera's not on him, but when there you go. So you can get that on our website, jatan.com, and we have a bunch of new music that is coming out really soon. We're excited about. We also have a show coming up, 2 shows in the local area. So if you're in the Philly, Jersey area, we have a show August 27th coming up at the Gathering Place with Joy and Peace Ike, our 2 sisters. It's going to be a great show. Already selling out, so make sure you get tickets to that. The link to that event is on our Facebook page. It's a Time Facebook page. It's on there. And you can, get your tickets now before they're gone and come see a great show. Man, I'm so excited.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, me too.
Take the words right out of my mouth.
So excited because it's intimate.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
And when you have those intimate settings, you can really just
Let it go.
go about. Well, you go about it it's like having a conversation with somebody on a personal level.
Right.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Right.
You're not singing at people, you're singing to people.
Yeah.
And you're letting them in to why we write these songs, why
What
we
these
do
songs
we
mean to
do,
us.
what they mean to us.
Yeah.
So it's personable,
Yeah.
And I love that.
And I really feel like, every time we've done a show there, the energy's been crazy. And I think this time it's going to be next level. The way we're starting the show out from that point forward, it's just like constantly building into.
Yeah, it's definitely a special place.
Yeah.
With Peace, like very special place, the Gathering Place. So.
And she's cultivated that in many ways, not just as a music venue, but just as a gathering place. They do so many other different events there and like so many things. If you check out the page they have a Facebook page, you can check it out. There's so many things going on there at all times. It's a vibe.
Yeah. So come, man. We're gonna have an experience together. I like that word, for what we're doing.
Yeah, man.
Let's have an experience.
The Jatan experience. But if you can't make that show on Labor Day weekend, September 4th, we are doing an event for muscular dystrophy. It is a benefit concert in, what's the place called?
National
Park, New Jersey, a town that I'd never even heard of before.
National Park Bar and Grill, right?
That's the name of the bar and grill.
Yeah.
National Park Bar and Grill. National Park Pub.
Yeah.
But it's in National Park, New Jersey,
Which is not too far from Woodbury.
Yeah, Woodbury area.
295.
Yeah, so
It's like one of those little nudge towns in between other towns.
Right. So that'll be a good show as well. It's going to be, a little bit different than the Gathering Place, but still a great vibe. We're going to be doing a lot of new music and a bunch of our classics. So if you want to come out to that, that's going to be a great event to support as well because it's going to a good cause. That's September 4th, which is a Sunday on Labor Day weekend. So, yeah, that's all the stuff we got coming up and all the support and everything. Other than that, what was everybody's weekend like?
It was good. It's good. I Ashley's mom's cancer benefit.
I saw the pictures for that today.
Yeah, I did photography. I'm glad I did it.
Yeah.
It was good. It was good. And it really showed. There were so many people there.
Yeah.
There were so many people. She impacted so many lives, man.
Nice.
Where was it at?
It was in West Berlin at like a hall type of situation, but they raised so much money for her. Like I think it was like close to like $9 grand.
Wow.
Just from like raffles and stuff like that.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, it was great, man.
And you took pictures?
I took pictures, and that showed me gave me a little bit of confidence because I'm like all right, I can do a wedding situation.
Right.
So holla at me if you need some pictures.
Yeah, if you need
He's
some pictures.
stepping out.
I'm stepping out.
Stepping out on that craft.
Did you make the change to the page?
What change to the page?
Yeah, they're trying to make me change my name to Moonshots. I said it sounds like a drink.
Not to me. You know what that sounds like to me? It sounds like someone who's like astrophotography. You know what I mean? Like someone who takes pictures of the moon. You know what I mean?
Stars.
That's
But 3 people told me that. So
Moonshots?
separately.
Moonshots?
Yeah.
That just sounds too on the nose. But I get it, because Moon's captured moments is a little bit too long.
Well, that's not really that's just my
That's your Instagram handle.
Instagram.
Right.
I don't.
By the way, follow his channel if you want. He's been taking a really like interesting angle on pictures from the stage and like when we tour and just whatever he encounters on a day-to-day basis. He posts those pictures on his page, his new page on Instagram.
What's it?
Moon's Captured Moments. And there's some really dope pictures from the stage with Freddie Jackson and us on stage and stuff like that. So follow that.
So the same time you were doing that, my wife's birthday was last week, and we did a little dinner. Just 6 of us. But the interesting thing was,
before you get into it, real quick, Mike Suarez. Shout out to Mike Suarez,
Mike,
our
what up?
soccer buddy. He said he missed it. He said, "What's the details for the local shows?" So again, August 27th, we are in Philly, in Germantown, at the Gathering Place with another great artist named Joy Ike, and her sister plays with her, Joy and Peace. And they put on a great show as well. So that's going to be a small, intimate show at the Gathering Place in Philly on August 27th, which is a Saturday.
Saturday, yeah.
And then
2 Saturdays from now.
Yep. And then following that, the next week is Labor Day weekend. We will be at National Park Pub in National Park, New Jersey, for a benefit for muscular dystrophy. So if you want to come there, that the Gathering Place vibe will be, the energy will be really laid back and kind of like intimate, but really connected. They do like a wine and cheese kind of thing with little hors d'oeuvres and stuff like that. It's cool. And then the pub is going to be bar atmosphere. So whichever one suits you. But back to what you were saying. So dinner.
Dinner with the wife.
So we went to dinner.
I wanted
on
to
Friday.
be there.
And it was small, but the thing that, and I'm gonna be vulnerable right here. The thing that happened, y'all don't know about this, but so I have a stepson who just graduated from college, 22 years old, and me and my wife have been together for 21 years. 21 years, and married for 11 years. So his father has not really been in his life since he was 2.
Yeah.
He just
not at all.
He just kind of like stepped away and never came back. But he lives in the area, So the interesting thing was, we walk in, and he's right there.
Yo,
wow.
He's literally like, so his father.
This is the first time I'm hearing. They tell me everything. I didn't hear this story.
I didn't get to tell you about this. So his father was like right there. I didn't even notice him. Of course, my wife, like we went to, I don't know if people know, in Collingswood, Kitchen Consigliere.
Yeah.
Which
right?
is a great little restaurant.
Yeah.
That place is good.
Yeah.
That was the first time I went there. I was
really
impressed.
Good. Shout out to them.
Yeah, we went there.
Okay.
They
Italian
treat you
spot
good too.
Right next to Sabrina's Cafe.
Oh, corner.
Yeah, they treat you good too. Like getting tables there, like they're really really good. So we walk in, they seat us at our table. She notices him. I didn't notice him because I'm never paying attention. And the thing was, like, my wife has seen him over the years, right? And something that really hit me, like she said, wow, when I saw him. Because she would, why doesn't this guy want to have a relationship with his son?
Yeah.
He lives in the same town we live in,
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's just like hard to understand. And for a while, my wife would like she would not know how to deal with it because of, just like this guy would see him. Like, if I'm not around, of course, he's not going to come up to her if I'm around. But if I'm not around, he'll, like, come up, how's my son? Like, that's how brazen he would be.
Right.
And she's like, are you serious? Like,
but
years later.
But if Fabian was there, he wouldn't come up either.
No.
That's fear. But,
so, my wife would always have this thing. But something that she said to me that was really interesting. And Jamie was there she didn't say it there, but you could tell, something she said to me was like, man, I have nothing against him anymore.
Right.
I'm free from that.
Right.
That's healing, bro.
Yeah. And just to hear her say that and see it, because it's still weird. It's still awkward.
Yeah.
Like,
it was very awkward.
He was right behind us.
And he was making it a point not to look in our direction at all.
Right. So it was, it was a funny, weird situation, but it was like almost like one of those things where it kind of had to happen.
Yeah.
It was like a test.
Yeah.
Where are you? And it was cool to see, shout out to my wife, how she dealt with that.
Yeah.
And I don't want to see I don't want to say like how she dealt with that, but more like how it didn't affect her and to see where she's grown, so.
Yeah.
Because things like that happen in our past, you don't just get over.
Yeah.
But, and this is where I'm going to shout out God. With God, anything's possible. And with God, things can shift.
Thank you, Lord.
In a way where you're literally free from it.
100%.
People say that like, don't affect me anymore. But you still, even in the way they say, it's still affecting them. So it was cool to see her, like, it not affect her. And we had a good time.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
That's big. Because that's trauma.
Yeah, man.
Over years.
Years.
Deal with. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, it was interesting, man, to see that whole thing unfold. That was my first time ever seeing him either. So it was just...
Yeah, Jamie, I texted him. Did I text you or I called you? Or you called me?
I called you and you were like being like very... vague on the phone, and then you were like texting me like, I was distracted, I'll tell you when you get here.
Yeah, because you were running a little late.
So I was making sure y'all were able to get a table without us being there.
Right.
And then you were like, I texted me right after that, like, I was distracted, I'll let you know when you get in. And then when I came in there, I'm like, yo, what's up? And you told me, and I was like, oh, for real? That's crazy. Yeah. So that's interesting.
Yeah, that was interesting.
We got some comments, I think. Oh, that's Mom and Lisa. Courtney said amen. Word up. And then we had church on Sunday, which was good. It was really good.
Yeah.
And then these guys came over and got some Trini food.
Doubles.
Yes.
Doubles.
What is it called?
Callaloo. Crab and callaloo.
Yeah, that crab and callaloo was so good. That
some
crab
curry
was
crab.
so good. You got to stay away from all that.
Yeah. and they made doubles.
Yeah.
And they made stewed chicken. Yeah, so it was.
I tried only to have the one doubles.
Yeah, it was just
I enjoyed it, man.
a random. Both my sister-in-laws were there, and then they all wanted to cook or whatever.
Yeah.
So.
And shout out to Mike Suarez because he was schooling us a bit on. Just
he's done a lot of research. Like me and him have been talking a lot about that stuff. He's trying to do
what stuff because we didn't.
My bad.
Research
my bad. Go ahead.
NFTs,
crypto investing. Period. Like we've been researching and talking about that for a while. I've been meeting up with him, and like I was telling you, the other dude that bought the Bored Ape. But yeah, he's really trying to get into like putting a men's group together where you meet up and like talk about those type of ideas, investing, crypto. Like it would be dope to like incorporate him somehow into what we do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's really knowledgeable in that way.
Where's he from? What?
He lives in Gibbsboro.
Okay.
Like 5 minutes from me. like right by Chop House. You know.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, he soccer guy. He's super chill though. Like I went over his house with my wife and kids, and we just hung out in the backyard playing cornhole. He's a good dude. So I think that like we should try to figure out how we can all link up, because he's always telling me like if you know anybody else that would be of like mind to come be a part of like a men's group or something, let me know. So it's something that we want to think about.
I'm
you know
down.
what I mean? Yeah. So shout out to Mike. Okay, so let's get into some stuff, man. There's a lot going on in the country. There's a lot going on. Today was a crazy day.
A lot going on.
Yeah. Today was a crazy day, man. When you see like how they are weaponizing certain aspects of the government that are supposed to be meant to uphold the rule of law, and then we see what they're doing and how they unfairly use it against certain people with ideologies, and other people don't get the same treatment.
A lot of hypocritical stuff going on.
Yeah, and we're going to get into that. That's why I named the title of this episode, Is This Country Broken? Because a lot of people are saying, and I've seen so many articles talking about how we are past the point of reconciliation now. Like we're clearly at a divide where there's either civil war, which is like, not going to be people. The problem with when you say civil war, people always think of, the 1800s where you line up in fields and shoot each other with muskets, where that's not, civil war doesn't break out like that anymore. And in most places, that's not how it works. It's like factions rise and they don't agree with each other. And then you get violence, you get protests, you get people taking over capitals, people taking over federal buildings, like things that we've been seeing happening already in this country. And it's just kind of like
on both sides.
On both sides. That's what I'm saying.
But they highlight one.
Oh yeah, only one side is deemed as the worst thing ever.
I guarantee you, most people don't know that the other side did it too.
Oh yeah,
guarantee.
Not just did it too, did it
worse.
Way crazier.
Yeah, I think people were talking about the real insurrection was May 20th, 2020 or something like that, right? Because that's when they went into D.C. and burned down the church and burned down. We're literally trying to break into the White House, and the president had to go into a bunker. Yeah. Remember that?
Yeah. And there were way more law enforcement there.
Yeah.
Way more law enforcement.
They occupied one of the buildings too. At that time.
They did, but the only thing they talked about in the news was them pepper spraying the protesters so that Trump could go take a picture in front of the church with a Bible. That's all you hear about.
Yep.
You don't know about what was going on, why they had
a photo op.
Right, and the reason why they pepper sprayed those protesters is because they were already rioting. Yeah. It had nothing to do with that. They came out and admitted that after the fact,
but nobody reads
the
that.
news doesn't highlight that. It's put in an article somewhere tucked away.
Yep.
But yeah, there's a lot of things going on in the country right now that are seeming to be at a breaking point or ahead. And when you see what happened today, it's almost like they've crossed the threshold. You know what I mean? And we're of course we're referring to the fact that they raided a former president's home, who they know is getting ready to run for re-election
in 100 days.
Yeah, which is unprecedented.
Yeah.
Especially for the reason that they did it, when they came out and talked about, classified documents that may have been, brought there inadvertently or whatever. But before we get into all of that, we gotta go down the list that we usually go down. The first thing I'm gonna show is because we got to show what's new with Uncle Joe. Because meanwhile, while all this is going on, we got a leader in the White House.
Is there ever a week where there's not something
There is
new?
never a week where you don't have content about what Uncle Joe is doing. Now, John just sent me this one. I had a couple other ones, but I'm going to play this one first because this one was pretty funny. So he's at the podium. Chuck Schumer was talking, and this is him just doing his Uncle Joe thing. Shakes his hand.
First one who got his hand shaken.
Yeah, and then he's like,
now our great
he's
speaker,
like, hey, what about me, man? You gonna shake my hand again?
I don't remember that.
He looks so confused.
Yeah.
Now our great speaker, our
he's just always confused.
1 second before he doesn't remember.
Because he's old, man.
Yo, he's so old.
Stop saying that. Stop saying that. Because there's a lot of people older than him.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
They're,
but I'm saying like, I'm saying like he's old in the state. Yes, the state of his being is just old. Like, because I don't like it's a state of being. Like you could be up in age but not be old. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like this guy's like let's look at the next one. This one is even funnier. Did you see this one, Stan? Him coming.
I didn't see any of these. I have not been.
Funny,
yeah, I didn't think it was. You
didn't think this was funny?
It was funny, but
Bro.
I didn't think it was as bad.
Yeah. First of all, he's coming out the helicopter. He's the only one with a mask on. You know, he just had COVID twice in a row.
Yep. Quadruple.
Twice in a row?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. I think he tested 3 times.
Did he?
Positive. Yeah.
And then he gets off the jet and he's just
I'm
fumbling.
just saying the wind is blowing it.
Just fumbling around.
You know.
Come on, man. It's a helicopter. Just give it.
Wait. No, you got to keep watching.
The jacket is blue.
You got to keep watching because his wife comes in to save him.
Look at his sunglasses.
Yeah, and then watch the glass. Look. That ain't got nothing to do with the wind, bro. He just put his hand in the pocket. Look.
I can understand that.
And then watch.
You know,
watch.
you don't fix your glasses right there. Like at some point, you gotta feel
then
that
the
your
glasses
about to
fall
off.
Yo, he's just fumbling around, bro.
Yeah, he's old.
Fumbling.
With
He's
his
fumbling, man.
with his Surgeon General. Surgeon General what? Doctor.
According to
The best doctor.
Whoopi.
Yeah, according to Whoopi, she's an amazing doctor. She's an amazing doctor.
Sounds like Marge Simpson's sister.
That's what she sounds like to me.
She's an
I
amazing
feel like
doctor.
she sounds like Marge's twin sisters.
Marge's black twin.
Yeah, right. So I'm sure you guys heard about the bill that they just passed, which they are deeming the Inflation Reduction Act.
That's why that first video, I think that was the announcing of that.
That was the announcing of that. Is that what that was?
I think it was.
They're calling it, the way the wizardry they do with the way they name these acts, like, is hilarious to me because they know that people are pissed about inflation right now. Nothing they can do about it. So let's jam a bunch of crap through a bill that we could never get past, but we'll use an emergency backdoor way of doing it and call it the Inflation Reduction Act.
Yeah,
that way everyone will be okay with it.
They're not gonna call it a "oops, we printed out too much money."
No, they're not gonna call it a "we want to jam a bunch of crap down your throats" act.
They're just gonna change the definition. So
that's what they're gonna do. Change the definition of whatever.
Inflation, recession.
I got a video where they talking about changing the definition of what a rate is because of what just happened today.
What?
Yeah, but anyway, this is Auntie Kamala talking about what's going to happen here.
Thanks to our President Joe Biden and his leadership, we are on the verge of signing into law the Inflation Reduction Act. And to put this in context, this piece of legislation will be the largest investment ever made to address the climate crisis. We are watching it, indeed.
I thought it was about inflation reduction.
Yeah.
I thought it was. So the largest bill to address climate?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't a lot of those policies what got us into this mess?
Right.
So our gas prices are gonna go up even higher.
Yep. That's how they do, though. I'm surprised there's no lizard studies somewhere in Costa Rica.
That might be in there. Don't speak.
That might be in there.
Gender studies in India.
Yeah, that might be in there. This is in there. Did you guys hear about this, which was jammed into that bill?
The IRS thing.
87,000 new IRS agents being hired.
Yep.
Yeah.
I heard they're gonna do more
Wonder
audits.
why that's happening.
Yeah, exactly. Does that sound like it's not going to target Americans in any way and try to get the government more money, more of our tax money? These 80,000, they can't even get this many soldiers to sign up. Yeah. They can't recruit this many military people, and they're bringing in 80,000 agents to check. Remember the thing they were trying to pass through, the one bill where it was like anyone who had more than $600 in their bank account, the government they can
spy on you pretty much.
There's a reason why they keep doing it.
Yeah. That's pretty much every paycheck.
There's a reason why they keep pushing this. They're pushing this because they just want to continue to
instead of looking at Joe Biden's bank account.
Or Hunter Biden's.
Why can't you hire more Border Patrol agents to help at the border?
Because they're worried about climate change.
Oh no!
But
what is it? Inflation reduction.
Inflation reduction. Let's call it that. But I just wanted to show this because there's all these fact checks coming out about will these agents be checking in on your taxes, and they're saying, for me, it's like this fact check. This is on AOL. It says, will 87,000 new IRS agents mean more audits for North Carolina families and businesses? And then the fact check, of course, goes in to tell you how that's not going to happen. How do you know that? Yeah. How can you fact check something that hasn't happened yet?
Yeah, exactly.
But again, when you see these things, like it's all the time. Like it's the same thing. Like the things that you fear, I'm going to tell you up front. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And the reason why they got to tell you up front is because it's probably going to happen.
It's going to happen.
It's probably
And then they
happen.
just gaslight you on that. We never said that. It's just like inflation. Yeah. Inflation's not going to happen.
It's transitory.
All of the experts are saying there won't be inflation. Yep. And now that
turns out it wasn't transitory.
Right. It wasn't transitory. And they're saying we never said that.
Yeah.
We got to understand that we can't give these people, when I'm saying these people, the government, over our rights.
Yeah.
To be able to do whatever they want because it makes us feel more comfortable. Okay, it's not going to happen. You know, how many times do we say, like, this is what it's about, your fear, and then you giving over your fear to somebody who can do a better job than you.
Or make you feel more secure.
Or they tell you they can do a better job than you.
Yeah.
Right? But look where that got black families.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. You know, over the last
forever.
Was it 60 years? You know?
Yeah.
You see this shift in how in 60 years, and we know this, we talk about this all the time, but like black families having households that are married were the highest in black families to being the lowest in America. Being 25, it was like 22%.
22%.
Right? Mm-hmm. Of black families, of households that were out of wedlock, having children out of wedlock in households, right? Now it's in the 70%.
Yeah. Closing in on 80.
Closing in on 80 in 60 years. Mm-hmm. You know, and this is what happens when we give over. And we talk about this all the time. These are democratic policies. Yeah. This is big government. These are the things that sound good. We're gonna take it over for you. We're gonna do it for you. We're gonna take responsibility over for you.
Trust us.
You know, trust us. We owe you. This is what Johnson was basically saying. Yep. We owe you. We're gonna help you out. You know,
we're gonna give you guys free stuff.
Yeah, and it never pans out that way. Mm-hmm. It never happens that way.
You remember back in 2020 when they shut everything down and everyone was making jokes about, we getting free money, blah, 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 blah. And we were on here saying, like, this is going to cost us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because people don't understand basic economics and, like, basic tax policies.
And I will say that people don't understand it because they complicate it.
That's what I'm saying. It's by design.
Yeah.
There's a reason why we're not taught any of this in school.
Right.
It's so that when we get grown and they do things like this, we just go with it. We think the government is giving us money. Like the government has no money to give you.
Yeah.
I mean, how many people say, I don't even want to think about it?
Yeah.
You know, just tell me that it's...
I've had somebody say before, like, they're Democrat because they give me stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They give me stuff.
Nobody gives you anything, dude. That's taxpayers' money.
Yeah.
And what was he was blank.
Well, I mean, when you look at
Puerto
the
Rican.
stimulus checks,
Well, that's a little bit. You know.
the stimulus checks and even the printing of money, you're literally borrowing against your future.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like you're hoping to dig yourself out of a hole that you know in the future you're going to have to pay for, but you're hoping that you can get such a burst that it will kind of like rocket you through that inflation that's coming, you know. But clearly we see that doesn't work. And it's never worked.
No. Like these ideas have to make sense. And I think even holding them accountable, and that's what we're doing here. Like we're showing, hold them accountable.
Yeah.
Look at what they're talking about. Don't just listen to Kamala Harris with her smile on her face thinking it's a good thing. Investigate those things, what's going on, and challenge them. Yeah. Because when you just let them do whatever they want, where you start to see, like when it sounds like it's off, it's usually off.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't, wait, how does that, 1 + 1 = 2? Like these things, I don't understand how you're doing this. When you don't understand it, it probably don't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's what's happening a lot. And you think about the 2008 crash, right?
Yeah.
What do you call that?
The housing crash?
Housing crash, yeah. So when that happened, there was a lot of finagling with these loans, right?
Yeah.
A lot of these loans. There was a lot of algorithm mathematics.
Mm-hmm.
There was a bunch of BS calculations that people did, right? And confused the market to the point where anybody could buy a house, right? And the way they finagled that, it made sense in their crazy calculations, but it was a bunch of nonsense. And 1 + 1 don't equal 2 to them, right? So that's what the problem is. It's like, we got to know, let's bring this back down to basics. And that's what, a lot of times people don't want to deal with it because it's too complicated. You think you got to be too smart. No, everything starts with basics. Let it make sense to me, you know, and be okay with not understanding. I don't understand this. You need to make it make sense to me, you know. And if we hold people accountable to that, like hold your parents accountable as kids, right? I tell my kids all the time, if you don't understand something, you need to tell me you don't understand, right? And sometimes people will say stuff. Like I was just coaching and a girl like said something to me. I don't understand why you're doing this, and this. I'm like, oh, you know what? You're right. And because I'm listening, you know, Ivan, I'm the assistant. Ivan was doing something and he's going and I'm like trying to figure out what he's talking about. So I thought it was something else. And this girl, she's worked with Ivan, so she knows what's going on. So I'm like, okay, yeah. She challenged me, right? Yeah. And I'm like, you know what? You're absolutely right. This is what we're doing. I looked around, saw, okay, fixed it, right? And that's what it's about. Like, you don't have to be rude.
Yeah.
You don't have to be disrespectful. But if you see something, this doesn't make sense.
But the problem is that we are being constantly bombarded with talking heads and, you know, I'll say the Operation Mockingbird soldiers telling us to just blindly trust the experts. No, do what we tell you. No, don't think for yourself. We got you. We will give you the information you need. Oh, don't read. You don't need to look into those emails that got leaked. We'll tell you what's in them. It's actually illegal for you to do that. You know. Oh, don't question the science.
Right.
Don't trust the expert. All these things because
it's just like gender studies.
Well, it puts you in a mindset of, well, that's too much. There's no way I can understand this, so I'll just believe whatever they tell me.
But I'm saying with gender studies, they literally say that in the opposite way. They say, you don't have the degree that I have to understand this.
Right.
So sit down and shut up.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I know this. Have you studied gender?
Yeah.
I don't need
Yeah.
man, woman.
right.
It's basic.
Right.
Like, you trying to accomplish, you're
It's
trying to complicate
Yeah.
something
It's
that is not that serious.
Right.
You know, and this is what that's the problem we have.
Yeah.
You know, like, you know how people say, when they don't understand something and there's an expert in the room, okay, speak to me in layman terms, right?
Yeah.
Because a lot of times you talk about stuff and like people don't know what you're talking about because you're talking about it in a language that you're used to talking to people.
Right.
That happens with people who know the Bible, right? You talk about things and it's like, hold up, make that make sense to me, right? And that's when you bring it into simplicity where, okay, got it. You know, that's what it's about. It's not about like, I don't have to know everything about it. I got to know the gist of it. So, okay, let's move.
Right.
You know, and a lot of times they don't want to do that.
No.
Because it exposes them.
Yeah.
So wait.
Yeah.
That's what you hear. So wait a second. You're telling me you're going to do this, this, and this. But most people don't do that. They just want to be comfortable.
It's funny that you make that correlation because oftentimes, and Tim Pool he says this every day, it's a cult. You know what I mean? It's a cult.
Yeah.
Because it's literally the same methodology where it's like, you don't get to question what I say. I'm the one who knows. I'm the one who has the all-knowing word. You just follow it.
Yeah.
And if you do question it, then you are out. You know what I mean?
I mean, don't we see that in church?
That's what I'm
With
saying.
bad pastors.
That's what I'm saying. So it's funny that you made that correlation to, religion, because it's like they are so anti-religion, but literally creating a new religion.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You know,
That you're not allowed to question.
And that's
Yeah.
literally what cults do. Like,
Yeah.
if anybody has not seen on Netflix this, I don't remember what it's called, Jamie. You
the one I
probably
was
do.
talking about?
Yes, because I watched it after you told me about it.
Yeah.
What is it called?
Oh man, what is it called?
What's it about?
It's about this. Oh, it's about the
A Mormon sect.
Yeah, it's about the fundamentalist Latter-day Saint FLDS.
Yeah, yes.
So I forget the name of the actual documentary.
It's like a documentary series.
Yeah, but it's all about this sect of Mormonism that was just crazy, bro. Like, and to the point where the leader right now is in jail for underage sex and marrying minors and all
He had
these
60-something wives.
60-something wives. Like, a big majority of them were under 16.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he is in prison right now, and they still are following him.
Yeah.
The people in that are he's doing sermons from prison, bro.
Yeah.
What?
Some of them were born into it. So once you
that's
you
all
get
they know.
born into it, that's all you know.
Yeah.
And he's to them, he is the prophet of God. Like, literally, he's the Pope. Their version of the Pope.
He's
you
like,
know what I mean?
Yeah, he's like, if he says something, that's God speaking.
God is speaking directly through him. Yeah.
So, and he set himself up in that position, right? So, like, dude, the stuff he says is crazy. And there's people, when anybody questioned it whatsoever, they were out.
Yep.
They were kicked out.
Like Scientology does. You're excommunicated from your family. They can't have any contact with you. You're kicked out. You're on your own. And think about it. These people live their lives in a Mormon like way where they kind of live off the land. Their job is in the commune or whatever. So to kick them out and send them out in the world, they have nothing. They don't even understand basic concepts of society because they've been cut off from everything.
Keep
you know what
sweet,
I mean?
pray, obey.
That's it. Keep sweet.
Keep sweet.
Pray, because that was his dad was like the start. He's the one who started that movement,
Right, yeah.
And his dad used to always say to the young girls, "Keep sweet." That was his indoctrination to them. Keep sweet. Always keep sweet, no matter what happens to you. Even if something bad happens to you, if somebody does something to you that you don't like, little girls are always supposed to keep sweet, and that's the way he would keep them, like. Because he had a ton of underage wives, and he was in his 80s. You know what I mean? When this documentary was,
But his son took it to the next level.
yeah, his son took it next level. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and so you see that, like Jamie was saying, that cult type mentality rising in this country, especially amongst the left.
yeah.
And this is where things start to get crazy because there's no logic in it. Mm-hmm. You know, there's no like, you can't check anybody. You can't like, but I just want to know why, you know.
Yeah.
You can't go against it, you know. And that's what communism thrives
Bro,
off
I was just thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
That's the color revolution. That's Kim Jong.
Yeah, Mao's revolution.
Yeah, Mao. That's what they do. Like if you question anything,
You did.
but your neighbors will turn you in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they're scared.
Yeah.
And it's literally the opposite of what real Christianity is about. What real believers are supposed to be doing. Because it's literally about being vulnerable, right? That's the opposite. You're covering up everything, and if anybody sees what you're trying to cover up, you're like, what? You're basically gaslighting them, right? Like,
Yep.
what are you talking about?
Yep.
You know, and that's what you see happening now, because like it's so obvious what they're doing with Trump and everything, you know. And if you question it, it's like, but hold up, what happened with Hillary? You know, and then this is like, you can't be impartial.
Yeah, I mean, Twitter was trending today with Gestapo government. What's the other one?
Maduro?
Yeah, like they're basically a bunch of people tweeting out about how this is literally, you know, tyranny.
You silence your political opponent.
Silencing your, and so we're talking about the raid on Trump's home. I'll bring the article up right here. John, you can pull this up for me. So from CNBC, Trump says the FBI raided his Mar-a-Lago home. The FBI raided Mar-a-Lago, former President Donald Trump's resort home in Palm Beach, Florida. Trump said Monday evening in a lengthy statement. Trump said that his residence was currently under siege, raided, and occupied by a large group of FBI agents. The raid was unannounced, he said. They even broke into my safe. The search represents a serious escalation of federal law enforcement's focus on Trump after months of questions about whether Attorney General Merrick Garland was planning to pursue investigations into the former president. To obtain a search warrant, federal investigators must show a judge that there is probable cause to believe a crime has been committed and that there may be evidence related to that crime in the location they are targeting. And we now know that judge is connected to the Jeffrey Epstein case,
Yes.
the one that granted that warrant. What?
The one that granted the
I'm just saying, like, pretty much what Jake said about Hillary. Like, we know she smashed all these cell phones.
Well, she didn't. She didn't herself.
Right.
Yes.
She ordered her people to do it.
Right.
But there's information and probable cause to raid him. But there's all this information about Hunter Biden, everything that's coming out.
Yeah.
Not just Hunter Biden.
They've known, right, the big guy.
Yeah.
There's emails,
Yeah.
there's text feeds.
All of them.
It's obvious. It's obvious.
It's so obvious.
I mean,
it's so
listen,
obvious.
let me show you guys this video from years ago.
FBI believes that you tried to wipe the entire server. Did you try to wipe the entire, so that there be no email, no personal, no official, wipe the whole thing?
Well, my personal emails are my personal business, right? So we went through a painstaking process and turned over 55,000 pages of anything we thought could be work-related. Under the law, that decision is made by the official. I was the official. I made those decisions. And as I just said, over 1,200 of the emails have already been deemed not work-related. Now, all I can tell you is, in retrospect,
By her.
if I used a government account and I had said, you know, let's release everything. Let's let everybody in America see what I did for 4 years. We would have the same arguments. So
Well, why didn't you?
That's all I could say. I'm not, you know, I have no idea. That's why we turned it over.
You were in charge of it. You were the official in charge. Did you wipe the server?
What, like with a cloth or something?
No. Well, no. How it works digitally. Did you try
So guilty.
So come on now.
Yo.
Come on now. Like literally.
Come on, man.
Literally with a cloth. Stop it.
And she's laughing too. Pull that back
Stop
up.
it.
Look at that laugh.
She got it from the best. Her husband.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Look
yeah.
at that laugh.
Explain the word "the."
Yeah. What? No, it depends what the definition of is, right?
Yeah,
that's what he
What
said.
he said
Yeah.
when he was getting questioned by Congress.
Yeah. But again, she's testified in front of Congress. You know, they asked her questions.
Yeah.
Mom said, this is a while back, Kamala, the cackling hyena. That's not nice. That's not nice.
Yeah, we don't got to go there. I mean, she is funny. She's auntie. She's definitely auntie, but we ain't got to go there. But yeah, Hillary, like, was caught red-handed with a server in her house where she had classified. It's now we know. It's she had classified emails, classified information that was almost 99% certainly hacked by the Russians, right, and China, and nothing.
Yep.
Comey comes out, says they're investigating, and then says that she probably did something wrong, but we're not going to prosecute her. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, we get with this guy who's, you know, the orange devil over here. Anything they're trying anything they can, and you were talking about this earlier, which is something that I realized is that they have to make him so toxic, because I mean all of these people that he's endorsing are winning. He's connected to so many governors, you know, Congress people, senators now that he endorsed. So they have to make him so toxic that people won't even want to be connected with him anymore. So they're trying to do everything they possibly can to accomplish that, for one, and also to make a way where he can't run again.
Right. That's the end goal.
Yeah. Because they know that if you are caught with classified documents, that you technically are not allowed to run again, which is another thing that they brought up about Hillary that no one cared about.
Right.
Like, she was technically not supposed to be allowed to run
because
she was caught with classified content in her private server.
So real quick, I was reading an article while I was over there when you guys were Ted Lieu.
Scientists.
Ted Lieu, Democrat in the House of Representatives.
That's your Asian homie,
my
bro.
My Asian homie. He said never before has a former president's home has been raided in a criminal probe. While this search warrant is seemingly for the mishandling of classified material, like Hillary, it is a serious crime and must be fully investigated.
Right. But this is the point. Never before. They want to just keep putting that narrative out there. This is the first time in history. Just like never before has a president been impeached twice. But y'all are doing this on purpose, like without merit. It's just being weaponized. The DOJ is completely weaponized.
As America,
FBI is completely weaponized.
Yeah, the Justice Department.
Yeah.
We made a choice to not do that, because that's what happens in dictatorships.
Yeah.
You go after your political opponents.
Right.
And then use your courts, use everything.
Yeah. I mean, when Trump was running and he made that joke at the debate where he said, because you'd be in jail, and everyone cheered.
Yeah.
The media went, oh, we don't do that in this country. We, this is not how we operate as Americans. They went off on that, because you don't want your political opponent. This is what he got impeached over. This is what he got impeached over for the phone call to Ukraine, because it was him trying to set up his political opponent.
What is it? Interference.
Election
interference.
Yeah.
Election interference.
Like, but again,
which had no merit.
Yeah.
By the way, he's not the first president to leave office with documents.
Yeah, we know this. We know this.
I hope everybody knows that.
We know this. I mean, it's obvious.
They don't.
Yeah.
It's not obvious. It's not obvious.
Obama has a warehouse full of them outside of Chicago.
Right.
That they handle.
And do you think that they're going to get raided at any point?
No.
No, absolutely not. Let's look at the new what's the word? Intersectional press secretary who is terrible at her job.
The robot.
Trying to Ducey's going to ask her about this.
Administration weaponizing the Justice Department and the FBI against political opponents.
Peter, the president believes in the rule of law?
the president believes in the independence of the Department of Justice.
That's a yes or no.
No, that is, no, it's a yes or a no for you. I'm answering the question. You may not like it, but I'm answering the question. And I'm answering the question, and I'm telling you that we are not going to comment on a criminal investigation. The president has been very clear. I laid out what his thoughts were back on January 7th in 2021 about how he saw the Department of Justice. And I'm just going to leave it there. We're not going to comment from here, from this White House, on a criminal investigation that is currently.
Administration.
They've been trying to make an example of Trump from the beginning.
Since 2016.
Yeah, from the beginning. And despite how you feel about him, you got to be able to see that.
Yeah.
And this is where I get annoyed and learn how to have more patience with people.
Yeah.
When people don't recognize that and they get so mad and angry or triggered when you talk about Trump, because they don't have the patience to realize, wait, let me step back and look at the whole picture. And they get caught up in, well, did you hear about this that he said? What did you hear about that? And it's like, hold up. Look at what's going on. Like, I know you're just trying. People want to just justify themselves and how they feel.
But, dude, that's why they do it. That's why the media constantly brainwashes people with one story after the next. They frame things in certain ways because they know that when they do things, they know that they're eventually going to do things like this.
It keeps people in their feelings.
But not only does it keep people in their feelings, people will never question what's being done to someone that they hate.
Right.
They don't care. Right. You could break the law 1,000 ways to come after someone I hate, and I don't care. I just want to see them go down.
But that shows you that you have no business trying to represent this country.
Yeah.
Right? That should, and people who can see that, they need to speak up more. You know, this is the issue. You need to speak up because you need to challenge people who are caught up in their feelings, because that's childish, number one, right? And challenge them to say, like, listen, if you're going to be responsible, you can't just jump to conclusions that you don't know what you're talking about.
Right.
You have to pay attention to everything that's going on. And this is what's happening. It's becoming very polarizing. There's something in the Bible that we've talked about before, and I'm thinking about it. It's in James 1. And it's something so basic. But it says when he's talking to, James is talking to other brothers, right? And he says, my beloved brothers, let every person be quick to hear, slow to speak, slow to anger or wrath. Yeah. For anger of man does not produce the righteousness of God.
Yeah.
Right? Righteousness is how we are supposed to judge, right? And bring justice. So everybody wants justice, but they want justice through their own wrath, through their own judgments of how they see things prematurely, right? Prejudice, again, is premature judgment, right? Prejudice is you're judging things without seeing the full picture. And so many people want to talk about racism, prejudice. Oh, they're prejudiced. No, we're prejudiced because we don't understand. We have to have more grace for the situation. Even what's going on with Biden and all the stuff that's going, like, you can't be like such a Trump lover that you don't step back and you're pulled into anger that you want to go into
the Capitol.
Yeah. You know what
emotions.
I mean? Yeah. It's still wrath. It's still anger.
Or you want to get tricked by the FBI to go kidnap a governor. You know what I mean? Which we found out was mostly FBI agents.
Yeah.
It really wasn't.
So real quick before we move on,
dismiss their charges.
Talking about the Department of Justice and DOJ and FBI. Biden has repeatedly stressed his belief that the Justice Department must work independently of the White House and that he will not interfere in its investigations. So he's saying that he's not interfering. To me, like, was he a part of, the Project Veritas thing?
He can always claim that they acted on their own.
Yeah.
He can always claim that. You know what I mean? That's the thing. If he just keeps, his comment can always be, I don't interfere.
Yeah, but it's like,
you don't know what they're doing behind the scenes.
Yeah, right. And that's where, like, we can be like, okay, we don't know. Like, I'll give you that.
Yeah.
Because we don't have to, all right, I don't know. So I'm not, like, that's where I'm like, I'm not going to say something that I don't know that he really did. But everything that he's saying is showing that he's not
because
not partial.
If you were truly a impartial leader of this country, you would say we can't do this as America.
Yeah.
We shouldn't be doing this. The Department of Justice should not be raiding the house of a former president who is about to run for re-election. Like, you know.
But there's definitely something else going on. But again, so you move people in that way, and when you're leading people by their emotions, and people who are led by their emotions are not fit to judge, right? They're not fit to judge, but you're leading people by their if you're led by your emotions, and just think about this, like when people get so mad that they like lash out and they're like, that wasn't me, or they'll say like, oh, my anger blinded me. You get what I'm saying? Like,
what's the ultimate end to that? It's murder.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And how many people got caught up in murder and it happened so fast?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I didn't realize, like, most people who, especially like, what's it called? Manslaughter.
Yeah.
Nobody meant to kill anybody, but it's just the anger. Your anger gets out of control. Things get away from you, and
crime
you can
of passion.
Yeah, your crime of passion. Your anger blinds you.
Yeah.
Right. We say things to people that we don't mean. Right. In the past. So why does the Bible talk about like these basic things that help us and are practical in our life?
Yeah.
Don't allow your anger to cause you to go too far to where you can't control yourself.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Learn how to be angry, but don't sin. Right? You can be angry about something, but you got to allow God. You got to allow God or your parent or somebody who's better judgment at judging things than you to process those things. Listen, I'm angry about this. How, working through these things. Yeah. But we've become so judgmental and disrespectful, lacking honor, that we don't have any way to gauge this because we got no measure. Because we don't honor our parents. We don't honor our leaders, right? And I'm saying leaders in ways that leaders that we actually honor and we look for counsel from, right? We don't honor them, so then it's just like whatever I feel is right.
My truth.
Isn't that what we're being brought up in now, right? So it destroys order.
Yeah.
Right?
Order is definitely taken away. I mean, you look at what's going on with schools now. They're telling teachers to go above the parents, totally take them out of the equation. So that in turn teaches the kids to not honor their parents.
Right. And then that's why you just can speak whatever you want to. Like, again, you say crazy things when you get mad and then you're like, you know what, I didn't mean that.
Yeah.
But when you say it to somebody that isn't as graceful as somebody else or doesn't have as much patience as somebody else, they take offense to that and they're like, I don't ever want to talk to you again. You're causing more problems.
Or they want to fight.
Or they want to fight. Yeah. Or you can die because it can turn into
you got
murder,
the right one today.
Yeah. So when it says let every person be quick to hear, right? Let me hear you out first. Yeah. Let me hear your heart, right? Why do you feel that way? Yeah. Why are you so angry, right? Let every person be quick to hear, slow to speak, right? Slow to speak. Now look what it says down here. If anyone thinks he is religious and does not bridle his tongue, but deceives his heart, this person's religion is worthless. So now you're seeing like, your religion means nothing. Because everybody's religious. What does that mean? That means what do you do every day?
Right.
What are the things that you do every day because you think they're worth something to you, right? And then when somebody comes against the things that you do every day because you think they're worth something to you, that's actually making you stronger. But if you allow your anger to cause you to lash out at somebody and start speaking crazy things to somebody,
Your religion is worthless.
Your religion is worthless.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's showing it to you because it's not grounded in anything deep.
Yeah.
Right? Because you can't be patient with anybody.
Right.
Right? Because if I'm religious in a certain thing that I do, and then somebody challenges me, especially in a way where, like, I don't see it that way, then maybe I need to look into that. You know, and what's being cultivated in this world, you see it with this government, you see it with these experts.
Yeah.
Is to just hold these things close to you because you feel like they're right. And if anybody challenges you on it, you have the right to be offended and attack them. And it's crazy, man.
Feelings.
So let me play this clip of this is someone posted this on Twitter about them redefining the definition of raid.
Agents, by the way, don't like the word raid. They don't like it. It sounds like it's some kind of, extrajudicial, non-legal thing. It's the execution of a search warrant. It's a court-authorized search warrant. I'm sure we're now going to be in for days of ranting and raving. Even at CPAC over the weekend, there was a congressman from Arizona who called for the defunding of the FBI before this even happened. So we're in for more of that. I'm sure they're hunkering down for that. But the word raid, they don't like it. They want to say they executed a search warrant. All of that going on. Meticulous searching.
Even, As the Chiron says, FBI raids.
Devices, electronic devices.
Oh, look, they just changed it in real time.
Look. I'm sure they're hunkering down for that. But the word raid, they don't like it. They want to say they executed a search warrant. All of that going on. Meticulous searching. Even, I've seen situations where devices, phone drives, are being searched.
That's funny.
Yeah, they change. As I'm saying it, I'm like, the Chiron says raid, and they change it in real time.
Part of this team, it would be a clue that they're possibly searching for thumb drives. And
bro, this is what they do. Literally, we're watching the gaslighting in real time. We're watching it happen.
They're quick with it.
Come on, guys.
Pay attention, man.
Yeah.
Watch what they're doing. Watch what they're doing, man. You can't be oblivious to these things. Courtney said Trump is being used as their scapegoat. He's also being used as the example of why you don't push back against the authority.
And the deep state.
Why you don't try to expose the deep state, the authority, the overarching ideology, and don't you gotta the one who has the most steam in that realm, you have to make an example out of them, so no one else rises up and tries to take that place.
But it's really fear.
Yeah, it's what it is.
They're afraid of
and I think it's going to have the opposite effect.
Yeah,
they did that to Jesus, didn't they?
Yep. Yeah. That's exactly what they did.
But what I think where we have to be intentional is like not to allow people to think it's okay to go with your anger because you see these things happening on one side, right?
Right.
And think that it's okay to lash out, on one side of this issue because you're seeing these things happening.
This week, scientists.
My bad. Yeah. So now, along with that case, something else that we've been talking about, and we're going to go over this because we got some clips from Tim Pool breaking down what's been going on here. He did 3 segments on this today because it's such big news. But we have Simone sent me this. This is from Newsmax, but it is. I don't want to use Newsmax as a source just because they are very biased.
Well, we could just say that they're very biased.
They're very biased, but this has also been verified with many other news outlets that the judge who approved the raid has ties to Jeffrey Epstein. Not only does he have ties to him, but he was a prosecutor at the time that he was being prosecuted in Florida, and then he switched to a defendant. Defensive attorney of his, you know what I mean, which is crazy. None of that seems suspicious. And now, years later, he's a judge that approves this.
The raid of my
yeah.
The execution of a search warrant. You need to fix your vocabulary or language.
They don't like this language. Why do we care what they like? Why do we care what they like? We don't like this language. So guys, just don't use it.
They don't like groomer.
That's like when you hear something, and
I like
Tweak
these Doritos,
scientists.
this is what I'm really starting to learn. Like, when you're trying to learn something from somebody, and they have information, but you don't like the way they're teaching you.
Yeah.
What? If you think that what they have is valuable, then stop and shut up and listen. Like, sometimes you need to be told something abrasively.
Yeah.
You know? And so this is the issue. Like, that's Trump.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, he wasn't the best speaker, but what he was doing, you need to pay attention to. And if you miss it because you don't like the way he's talking, come on. You're missing it. You got Obama, who's faking y'all all out because he got all his smooth talking down, right?
Smooth as eggs.
And then it's so interesting because, like, Paul talks about this. Like, he's like, I don't come to you with smooth talk, right? I'm not coming to you in this way. And this is 2 Corinthians, where these smooth talking apostles that he called super apostles, right? We're coming, talking, and winning over the Corinthians, right? This church. But then you have Paul, he's like, I'm coming to you in weakness. Yeah. Right? And that's what you got to look at, like, Trump. Like, stop looking at these people like they should be perfect. Yeah. Stop looking at your pastors like they should be perfect. Stop looking at your leaders like they should be perfect. No, they're good at certain things, and they can give you what you need in certain ways. Stop looking at your parents like they need to be perfect. No, honor your parents. It doesn't say honor your parents if they do all these things right. No, it just says honor them. Yeah. You know, there's things that they do very well, right? Everything that they've established in your life. Yeah, and if you don't see that,
the mistakes that they've made, you're going to see and then be able to correct those things in your life. Right. If you're lucky. You know what I mean? So that you still need to honor them. Yeah. Because if it wasn't for you being able to see the mistakes they made, you might make those same mistakes.
Mm-hmm. And you can take it to the next level if you honor them. Right. They can take you further. But what's cultivating is the fact that they can even say these type of things is because a lot of Americans are in that state already. Yeah. Where they have to, you're right. We shouldn't say it in that way. We need to change. Yeah. And then you allow it because you already are compromised in that way because it's more about your feelings than anything else. You know, it's about the feelings, man.
Yeah, it's the feelings.
Yeah. You and your feels.
All right, so let's get into some of these videos with Tim Pool, who is a YouTuber, podcaster. He used to be located right here in Pittman, New Jersey.
Before we get into that, like we're talking about feelings. I saw you pulled up the Demi Lovato thing.
Yeah. I was going to show that, but I kind of just get past it because it would be changing the subject. This is the
prime example of.
Yeah, you could.
Maybe you should show it.
You could throw this up.
Yeah, of feelings. So. Remember this? What was it last year?
Oh, she was going on. She was it was this year.
She was this year.
She came out and she was going on this whole thing and changing her look, and
she identified as they them.
Yeah. And now she
doesn't
comes
feel.
Yeah. Nobody's perfect, she says, as she explained why she's going back to her she her pronouns.
But you should have heard the way she was explaining it.
I didn't hear it.
It was all about feelings. Right. It's literally like
the
way she feels. Like, you know. Yeah. Well, at that time, I didn't feel like I had a place in my gender. Like, she's literally going through these things. Exactly. See, this is the problem. Yeah. This is the problem. Just because you don't feel like a man doesn't mean you're not a man. Right. Just because I don't feel like going to the gym today
doesn't mean I shouldn't go to the
gym. Right? If I... Like, it's not about how we feel.
Right. Just because I feel like, drinking beer and eating ice cream for breakfast every day doesn't mean I should do that. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Oh, anyways, man. I just wanted to mention that.
Okay. Let's keep it moving with the, we'll show these Tim Pool clips and then we'll have some commentary. So Jake got some clips from one of his segments. I got some clips from where he goes into the Epstein connection.
Okay.
Here's the updated details. CNN reports the FBI executed a search warrant Monday at Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort in Palm Beach, Florida, as part of an investigation into the handling of presidential documents. They didn't do this for Hillary Clinton, who destroyed 30,000 plus emails.
He's so mad.
It.
he gets so
He's
mad.
They
Because
say
it's
that
so
may have been
obvious.
brought there. Three people familiar with the situation told CNN. Former president confirmed that FBI agents were at Mar-a-Lago.
He doesn't sound like a chipmunk, by the way. This is sped up for time's sake.
And said, they even broke into my safe. He was at Trump Tower in New York when the search warrant was executed in Florida. My beautiful home, Mar-a-Lago in Palm Beach, Florida.
By the way,
is current.
Just because he said New York and it triggered. You know how they're always trying to get him on something, which is why they raided him. The thing in New York, they were trying to get him on.
Yeah.
They just had to close that down.
Wow.
Because there's nothing there.
They were investigating him for something in New York as well. Yeah.
I think his tax thing.
Yeah.
They were trying to get a hold of.
Exactly.
Yeah. So there was nothing there.
But they did just get him on something in DC where he has to submit some type of tax forms to Congress now. Yep. Yeah, they are going all out. They're going all out, dude.
He's been through every agency investigation. Yeah. If there was something there, they would have already had it. Right. But they just got to keep it in your head. Right. Oh, he's getting investigated here. He's getting investigated there.
He's a criminal. He's going down this time. It's his though. It's that's why this movement on Twitter, this hashtag Blue Anon started trending. Did you guys ever hear about Blue Anon?
No.
It became a trend because it's like they're just as bad as the QAnon people. Is these people that just like, we're gonna get him this time. Here comes the investigation. Just wait till what's his name, who was doing the guy that Rachel Maddow started crying because his investigation came back with nothing. What was his?
Kavanaugh?
No. Kavanaugh, the guy that was investigating Trump spent $25 million of the taxpayers' money for like 2 years. I can't even think of his name.
What is his name?
It was in the news every day, and now I forget.
Oh my God!
Anybody has it?
Yeah. Anyway, but you know, they those people are called Blue Anon.
Okay.
Because they just think that any day now Trump's going to jail. You know, any day it's going to happen. He's a criminal. You'll see. Right.
But it's not as popular as QAnon.
No,
Durham.
QAnon is Durham is the one doing the report now. Yeah. He's investigating what they were doing. Right.
Mueller,
yes.
The Mueller report.
Mueller report was going to bring him down, baby. And when he came out with that report, Rachel, I wish I could pull up the video of Rachel Maddow's reaction to that, dude. Like, she was tearing up on the news.
Yeah, I remember that.
She couldn't wait. Anyway, let's keep going.
Currently under siege, raided and occupied by a large group of FBI agents. The extraordinary move to search the home of a former president raises the stakes for the Justice Department and comes as Trump's legal problems continue on multiple fronts. Trump is also expected in the coming months to announce that he will launch another bid for the White House in 2024. Incredible. What did they say of Trump? September 25th, 2019, memo. Trump prodded Ukraine leader to investigate Biden's. They claimed that Donald Trump was trying to dig up dirt on Joe Biden because he knew it was going to be his political rival. That's what they say. At the time Donald Trump requested Ukraine look into Biden's business dealings, Joe Biden was not running for president, and no one actually said he was going to. Maybe the only reason Biden ran was so they can protect the fact that he's engaged in illicit activities. They say, the White House released a rough transcript of the two leaders' phone call Wednesday, and it showed that Trump repeatedly prodded Zelensky to work with the U.S. Attorney General and lawyer Rudy Giuliani to investigate Democratic political rival Joe Biden. Joe Biden wasn't running for president at the time. Why was he a political rival? Trump raised allegations without citing any evidence that the former vice president sought to interfere with the Ukrainian prosecutor in regard to his son Hunter. What do you mean? There's a video of Joe Biden saying, if you don't fire the prosecutor, you don't get the money.
Dude, that cracks me up every time because people still don't know that video exists of him saying it out of his own mouth.
Yes.
And he said,
we played it on air.
Son of a gun, he was fired.
Yeah.
Bragging about it.
Yep.
Yeah. That's how blatant and arrogant these people are.
Yeah.
Like, that's what we don't understand. Like, he's showing his hand, but yet we don't see it. Because we don't want to see it.
That's just as bad as Hillary being up like, with a cloth? Like, what do you mean? Yeah. Wipe my server.
Right.
Like, shut up.
That's signs of a guilty person.
Like, you don't know what wiping a server is. Stop it.
Leader who had been investigating Burisma, confirmed by Matt Taibbi. Yeah. Now we have this. CNN continues. The Justice Department has 2 known active investigations connected to the former president. One on the effort to overturn the 2020 presidential election, and January 6, 2021. The search began early Monday morning, and law enforcement personnel appeared to be focused on the area of the club where Trump's offices and personal quarters are, according to a person familiar with the matter. The FBI's search included examining where documents were kept, according to another person familiar with the investigation, and boxes of items were taken following the National Archives' recovering of White House records from Mar-a-Lago in recent months. The FBI on Monday had to verify that nothing was left behind. Trump's son, Eric, told Fox host Sean Hannity that the purpose of the raid, from what they said, was because the National Archives wanted to, corroborate whether or not Donald Trump had any documents in his possession. Hillary Clinton did. Hillary Clinton had 32,000? She destroyed them. They never raided her home. Christina Bobb, Trump's attorney, said the FBI seized documents. President Trump and his legal team have been cooperative with FBI and DOJ officials every step of the way. The FBI did conduct an unannounced raid and seized paper. There was a communication between the FBI and U.S. Secret Service before the search warrant was executed Monday. A person familiar with the matter said, allowing the FBI to access the estate without any complications. There is only a small Secret Service footprint at Mar-a-Lago when Trump is not there. CNN has reached out to the FBI for comment. The Justice Department declined to comment to CNN. A White House official said it was not notified about the search. President Joe Biden, a senior administration official, said was unaware of the search of Mar-a-Lago until after it was reported on the news. Okay. Let me show you what they're doing. Mark Elias, famous Democrat lawyer, says the media is missing the really, really big reason why the raid today is a potential blockbuster in American politics. Blockbuster? Civil war territory, my friends. National divorce. You can see it right here trending. He links to this image.
Says all the time. Civil war.
Yeah, national divorce. Like he's showing it. It's trending on Twitter. People are talking about it.
Whoever having the custody of any such record, preceding map, book, document, paper, other, willfully and unlawfully conceals, removes, mutilates, obliterates, falsifies, or destroys the same shall be fined in the title or imprisoned not more than 3 years or both. And, here's what he quoted, shall forfeit his office and be disqualified from holding any office under the United States. When Hillary Clinton did it, they didn't go after her at all. But now, they're trying to weaponize the same provision against Trump. They don't care. They don't care about what is just. They don't care what is practical. They care what is power. Donald Trump said Hillary Clinton would be in jail. And they screamed, this is the end. We can't have this. Oh, no. Now they're doing the exact same thing. Worse. Worse. National divorce is trending. Banana Republic is trending. The Rubicon has been crossed. There's no question about it. My friends, I can only put it this way. Yeah, you got any emergency food? Normally I do shout-outs for the emergency food. I'm not going to do the whole spiel for safeandreadymeals.com as I normally do, but there it is for those that are interested. Now we have this. CNN continues.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much what we were saying. You know what I mean? Like, this is, it's definitely one-sided. It's funny to me, like, because when you think about all the stories that have been in the news about FBI raids, it's been January 6 people, James O'Keefe, who they were raiding him over Joe Biden's daughter's diary. Mm-hmm. Trump is constantly being harassed.
Which there was nothing illegal about him having the diary.
Oh, no, nothing illegal about it.
Yeah.
They just needed to get something on him.
He tried to give it back to them.
He tried to give it to them.
And they didn't.
Yeah.
I find it interesting. Like, he's talking about Civil War and all these things.
He always brings that up.
And I mean, there's merit to that.
Yeah.
You know, like, but like, are we watching how many food distributing facilities have been dealt with? I say dealt with.
Some have been
maybe
planes crashing into them, exploding, fires.
It's been like 90,
dude,
something.
Yeah,
insane. And then like
over the whole around the country.
You hear about in Denmark, like they're having a food crisis, but they're paying farmers not to produce.
Yeah, not to grow crops.
Now, what else is happening? Oh, you got China buying up land.
So much land.
You got, what's his name?
Bill Gates buying
up
farmland. More farmland than anyone else.
more farmland than it. What do you think is happening?
Yeah.
And we can't just sit and just think, oh, don't look.
Yeah.
Don't pay attention. Now, do I have a solution for it? No, I don't. But I do know that we have to be intentional about looking for solutions, right? And this is where with him, like you're saying, he goes, Civil War.
Yeah, his solution for everything is get in the van and go in the woods and get survival equipment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But at the same time, it's like, what happens if we can't eat for a few months? What happens if things go bad? Like, we do have to prepare for stuff just in case. Like, maybe you should have a month worth of food, So these things are kind of, we should be looking at them.
Yeah.
But at the same time, maybe we need to prepare in other ways. I don't think that we should be allowing fear to dictate what we do, right? Because meaning, if we are fearful of something, we're going to go and try to work in that way against it.
But what you're saying is we shouldn't live our lives completely dependent on systems that can be taken away from us at any time, at any moment.
Right. And that's bondage, and I'll say this, like, it's our thought process, I think, that has to be challenged, because are we even thinking in certain ways? Like, do we even think about things, like things that we don't even come into our mind? Why don't they come into our mind? Because we're provided for. How many people are like, I don't want to think about that, I just want to go out and have fun. Well, the reason why you can go out and have fun is because of what has been provided for you, the peace in the country that has been provided for you, that things like clubs and these places that you can go to have fun can even be around, because
eating these pretzels.
You're right.
Little things.
But appreciating what has come before you, respecting and honoring.
That's honoring, man.
Right?
Dude,
appreciating it.
There's this whole, like, so many videos in the Red Pill movement where they basically go in on women who do these rants on TikTok or on YouTube, talking about how we don't need men anymore. Like, men don't serve a purpose.
Right.
Why does a woman need a man? Like, women can run the world. Women can do whatever, and that's speaking to exactly what you're saying, is you don't honor the world that has been established for you to be even able to say that, to be even able to operate in a world independently without a man. That only exists because men crafted that world for you.
And when you say those things, just like a kid's saying something like into their parents, which their parents haven't taught them respect or honor. When a kid will say, I hate you, you never listen to me, you're so mean. Like, if a kid's saying that, there's a problem, because they don't realize what they've been given, where they're at, right? Appreciation is key. And appreciation has to do with looking towards things that you haven't seen before. So these people, they're not thinking it through. And when you don't,
because that's all they know. I'm thinking about, like, I'm sorry to cut you off, Jake, but like, it's in my brain. I might forget it. The only reason that women are in the state now is because of science. The pill.
Right.
Like, come on. Like, I don't want to sound chauvinistic or whatever like that, but women.
Even you saying that is. What? Go ahead.
Women, before the birth control pill, like, if they were promiscuous, they're gonna have kids. Like, and if they have kids, their lives change.
Consequences.
It's like, there's consequences.
Well,
to
so
that.
now it's not
like,
just a pill; it's abortion. It's there's 30 forms of contraception outside of the pill.
But like, I'm talking about even birth control. It regulates, like, even them bleeding. You know what I mean? Like, they're on this, and then they can go to work. It doesn't affect them as much as back in 1920 or whatever.
Right.
So it's
and if you think about that, like, all these things came about around the 1960s, like the birth control, like even a lot of these Democratic policies. Like these things sound good.
Yeah.
You know, then abortion came a little later. They
sound like freedom.
Yeah. Sexual revolution.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They sound like freedom. They sound good because when you desire something, you know, if it sounds good and you go for it, but then, it's not always greener. It's not. The grass is not always greener. Yeah. You're still stuck. Like you're in these things, and then what happens? You're still stuck with the loneliness that you feel.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You're still stuck with the issues that you have. It doesn't change it, right? It just covers it up.
Yeah.
Right. And in a bad way. In a bad way. I was explaining to my kids the song "Burn" today, or one of our songs. I was telling Jamie about this, and like just explaining it to them because they're asking me about like the lyrics and stuff, and it blows my mind because I'm like, listen, if you lie to yourself and you tell yourself a thing to make yourself feel better about yourself, right? And that means you got secrets, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're really not being truthful. And if you do that enough, you're going to lie to yourself so much that you believe it. And then when people come around to challenge it or something comes around to challenge it, you're trying to cover it up even more, right? And that's what we're talking about in the song. And then it says it's a sad, sad day. And in my sense, like, so that's why it's a sad, sad day when you've been standing in your own way. That's the B section, right? Like, exactly. Yeah. It's sad because
you realize that you're the one standing in your own way.
Yeah, it's only sad once you realize it.
Yeah,
it's not sad if you don't realize it. So it's sad, but it's actually a good thing, you know, that you're realizing this, because then you can get out of your way. And like that's the point. Now the things that you created, these walls you created to keep yourself safe from it, and it's actually keeping yourself in lies, right? In secrets. Now you can let go of. You can be vulnerable. You know what I mean? And those are the things that need to burn.
Yeah.
So
let it burn.
But having my kids ask me about that, and me having to give them, like, this is stuff I wrote. You know what I mean? But having to talk to them about it. This is what it's about, you know. We start to see things, and then they get to talk to me about what I wrote, in a way where, so this is why you wrote it, because it means this. Yep. Exactly. Yeah. You know, that's what it's about in terms of how we grow together. You know, what do you mean? What do you mean when you say these things? Like, my kids wasn't paying attention to the lyrics before. They just, I like the song. Yeah. You know, but now, like, they're getting a little older. What does it mean? And that's a good thing. So I encourage that, because how many people grow up, I just want to have fun. I listen to mindless music. Yeah. And when you really listen to the music, it's like, yo, what am I listening to? You know what I mean? We grew up like that. Yep. Like, what are we listening to?
Yep.
I'm really listening to this music that's talking about, you know, doing all these crazy things.
Let me lick you up and down. Do you sing stuff? You didn't even think about it.
Yep. And it is cultivating horrible
behavior.
Horrible behavior.
Habits.
And then we start doing it with each other. Right? We start cultivating that with each other. Yeah. And then we wonder how we got here.
Yep.
Well, we got here because we were very irresponsible. And we cultivated that.
Yeah. Yeah. Straight up.
Truth with an F.
Keep going with this Tim Pool stuff.
Now, I don't know where we go from here. I don't. My fear is violence. It's not going to solve anything. It's going to be the thing that needs to be solved, and that's why we try to avoid it. Violence is the problem. It's when violence occurs, we can't live properly. You can't grow your food, you can't eat. It's pure chaos. There's no real progress. There's no real family. It's just brother on brother bloodshed. That's what we need to figure out how to avoid. And I'm hoping it doesn't come to that. I actually am very much hoping that we have reached fifth generational warfare where this has become politically ineffective. But I don't know, because a move like this is when things just the FBI has taken a stake and drove it straight through the heart of this country. The left will tell you that it was Donald Trump who did it. No. You could argue the FBI did it when they investigated Hillary, but did not make moves against her or whatever the case may be. 32,000 destroyed records. We know that happened. We know that people working for Hillary smashed cell phones with hammers. Donald Trump may or may not have some document held over from his administration. They'll claim that we should investigate to find out if he did. Fine. I'll argue Hillary Clinton should have been investigated and prosecuted outright if that is the case. But either way, the fracture was forming some time ago in this nation, and this was them taking the hammer and shattering what was left of it. From here, national divorce seems inevitable.
And I just want to point this out for anybody watching who doesn't know who this guy is, because from watching this video, you would think like, oh, this guy must be a Trump supporter, and he's not. Like, he
did vote for him the second time.
He voted for him in the second term because it was between him and Joe Biden, and he's completely lost faith in the Democratic Party just because of their moves.
He used to be a Democrat.
He was a Democrat.
Yeah.
I mean, he voted for Bernie. He wanted to vote. He put money behind Andrew Yang. You know what I mean? Like, he supported his camp and Tulsi Gabbard.
Which is so crazy. Like, especially Andrew Yang. Like,
yeah.
It's so crazy where he's come to.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But even Yang is trying to start a third party now. Like, he's on this whole movement trying to start a third party.
Yeah.
I forget what he's calling it, but he's trying to start a third party, which is ironic because what's his name got banned for trying to start that third party movement during the election last year. Remember? I mean, in 2020, Brett Weinstein.
He got banned?
He got banned from Twitter for trying to start a third party. So it's so interesting, man.
So one thing he was saying, like, he hopes that it doesn't come to that, right?
Yeah.
But that's where he sees it.
To violence.
And I was like, I'm really starting to learn. This is something I'm learning. I'm just throwing it out there because, you know, this is just my thought process and the breaking of my old thought process and I'll even explain what I mean by that. So I hope he's like, a lot of people say this, I hope it doesn't come to that. But the thing is, that hope is not based off of anything.
Right.
When people talk like that, it's like, I hope this doesn't happen, but they're just saying that.
Yeah.
But they don't really mean it, because you have to put your hope in something. Hope comes from a place that you can see, right? It's an idea that has to be seen, and then I can put my hope in it, and then that leads me down that path in faith, right? So that becomes a different way of processing things, because I have the hope to now see what I couldn't see before. Now I can think in a different way, right? And so you can't think differently until you change what you put your hope in, right? And think about this, guys. This is something that I was thinking about and believe it was revelation. All thoughts, you can't think independently. All thoughts are dependent on something. All thoughts are dependent on a spirit.
Yeah.
It's either good spiritually or bad spiritually. Every spirit influences you, therefore you are dependent on those spirits. But it's and every spirit that every thought that you think on takes you into that realm in which the thought from that spirit came from.
That's good.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like we think we have independent thought. No, these thoughts come and it takes us into a realm. And that's what keeps us. So are we going into realms of bondage?
Yeah.
Or realms of freedom?
Right.
And I would even say, we talked about this at church, like yokes are realms, right? Jesus said, put on my yoke. It's light, right? So even Jesus's yoke is it's a bondage, but it's a good bondage.
Right.
Meaning we are kids and we need to have some kind of protection and bondage, right? So that we can grow in it. But that's why he talked about you can't serve two masters. You know, you can't serve mammon. And see, that's a thought process. If everything in my thought process is survival mode, right? How am I going to get money? How am I going to protect my family? See, and that's where I'm going with this. Because if my hope is like to protect my family, that's not really hope.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
That's fear.
That's fear.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm going down that process, I got to get a gun, right? I got to get these things. I'm not saying that those things can't help, but that's not the realm of freedom,
right?
In how I think things through. So I'm always just recycling my thought process, and I'm never coming out of that, and I'm in a place of bondage because I got to do this, I got to do that, I got to do this. And it made me think about Job, because one thing Job said is, my fears have come upon me. Right. He was, and if anybody knows about Job and what he went through, like, he went through some crazy mess, right? Yep. But one of the greatest things that he went through was his kids died, right? But he was, before that happened, he was sacrificing for his kids because he feared that something was going to happen because they weren't trusting in God. He feared that he has to cover them because he doesn't know if they're really trusting God, right? And because of that, his fears came upon him, right? So what I'm saying is, his thought process was in fear.
Right.
And that was the place where the devil, if you know the story of Job, the devil, or you can say the adversary, came to Jesus. The accuser came to Jesus and was like, listen, Job doesn't really love you. He just does things because
he's afraid of what will happen.
Well, not that he's afraid. He does it because you're giving him all these things, right? Because it doesn't mean that Job wasn't, like, vulnerable in that area. God just never checked him on that, right? You know how many things that as kids we're never checked on, like, by our parents, because, like, we'll get to that, right? But and this is what happens with the devil. You think whenever we're checked, like, whenever he tries to check us, like, listen, he's going to deny you. He don't really love you, right? All right, go ahead. See, he has to allow him to now interact in that way, because he just showed a vulnerability, right? That's why we're made strong in our weakness, right? So it changes our thought process. Now, if something happens to us and we got to deal with it in a way where it stretches us to think outside of our boundaries, or we can just continue in a fear process of thinking. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, totally.
And I think that I really believe that this is what we're learning, especially as a church, because the church is the one that keeps this country. Like, whether people want to believe that or not, I don't care. Love you anyway, but the church is what keeps this country, because the church is connected. Now, I'm not saying, when I say the church, I'm saying those who truly intercede and are doing the things that God intended them to do, which is a whole process that we're not going to get into. But my point is that, why do they keep the country? Because they bring about solutions to the thought processes that they go through in hope and trust in the one who can do it. Right. And so, again, when he's saying, I hope it doesn't come to that, he's not putting his hope in anything, because he doesn't have anything to put his hope in. Therefore, it's vain, it's vanity, you know? And it's like, really what he believes is that things are gonna. That's why he always talks about civil war. He really believes that it's gonna get that bad, you know. Which is where
he doesn't want it to.
He doesn't want it to.
But to say, I hope, he doesn't really know what he's saying. Like,
I would say a hot civil war. Like, we're already in the civil war.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Minds.
For
like violence.
For it to get violent. Where it's really factions rising up.
And I think you're right. We are already in a civil war.
There's two ideologies completely at war with each other right now that are
well, it's kind of gotten violent sometimes.
But
when you
not
talk about BLM and Antifa.
Right.
Right. And what's the Proud Boys? You know, they're always beefing with Antifa.
But now we're finding out that there's a bunch of FBI informants and federal agents in that too. You know what I mean? So it's tough to understand, like, what's truly organic and what is being, sparked.
But that's why, like, can it be sparked if you don't trust in those things that make sense, but they're just another side of the coin. And that's what I mean when I say, like, it takes you down a thought process that seems like a solution, but it's really just cycling you through bondage. Like it's just cycling you through a process that you can never get out of in your mind. You can't. It's just another side of the coin, right?
Yeah.
Oh, my parents did this, so I'll never be like that. I'm gonna be like this.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then you just be like this, but then you become like them because it's just the opposite side of it. Yeah. And then the next generation
they
becomes
swing
like
back
them.
the other way.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, let's keep going.
There's a couple ways things could go down, I suppose. Donald Trump might win in 2024. Maybe it'll be Ron DeSantis. I don't know. He might win in 2024 because they just made Trump a political martyr by doing this. And that's where it may go. I don't know. If Trump does win, if the Republicans win in November, then you are going to see investigations. Maybe if the Republicans actually, Kevin McCarthy said that they're going to investigate and go after everyone who did this. I will stress, there's no guarantee the Republicans win. If the Republicans don't win, man, here's what I think may end up happening. Joe Biden, the Democrats in the Senate, just rammed through this reconciliation bill, climate and healthcare. Democrats are tried to codify abortion up to 9 months. I think what we may see, you get a red state like Texas. Maybe not necessarily Texas, and maybe not even the full state, but you get a jurisdiction. And they'll put up signs saying no federal authorities allowed. They'll bar them access. You'll get some random guys, militia maybe, blocking a highway. And they will say, we are taking control of this road. 2 guys is all it takes.
Everything that he's explaining is stuff the left has already been doing. Like when you look at them seizing police offices, turning them into autonomous zones.
Yep.
Federal buildings, like blocking roadways, like this is stuff that they were already doing.
Summer of love.
Already.
Summer of love in Seattle.
But one thing that I agree with is if it does happen on the right, it'll be a huge story.
Right.
Yeah.
It'll be a huge problem.
Mainstream.
And everyone will be so in fear of it. Like when the left's doing it, it's the summer of love.
Yeah.
Even though a bunch of people got killed in there, and that's what made them come in and break it up finally. Mm-hmm. But
2.
Summer of love.
World War I started with one guy, Franz Ferdinand. One guy. It may come down to a handful of guys, and they just say, it could be something like the Bundys. We're taking these roads. The feds might go in, and it spirals out of control from there. The Bundy scenario happened, several years ago. The holding of this land was already worrisome. Already. So for people who say it's not going to happen, you're not going to get militia guys blocking roads, I just look at what happened with the Bundys. That happened. Add in this mix. What happens if Donald Trump heads to, let's say he goes down to Mar-a-Lago now. What happens if Ron DeSantis goes after the FBI agents? I don't think he will, but I don't know what could happen at this point. Someone asked me last night in IRL, what if Ron DeSantis orders the arrest of the FBI agents who did this? What if Ron DeSantis bars the feds from operating? What if the local law enforcement stop cooperating with the feds and block them? Maybe not arrest the agents, but at the very least, reject their authority. I mean, California's already rejected the authority of ICE. What happens then?
Yeah. Those are serious questions.
Yeah, what you could do, but DeSantis could do as governor.
Yeah.
Order the National Guard.
Yeah, and then say, we're not respecting your authority here.
You have no authority here.
Yeah. All right, let's keep going. Show the Epstein connection. I didn't speed it up.
The judge who signed off on the sealed search warrant of Mar-a-Lago is now being reported to have links to Jeffrey Epstein, and boy, does this get interesting. So many questions. What does it all mean? I can already hear the mainstream media saying conspiracy theory alert, but there is something interesting here. This judge apparently was a lawyer who switched sides, started to aid Epstein, and many people questioned why he did it. But we can take a look at the actual stories going back to discuss what happened and why. Now, I can tell you about this judge, his links to Jeffrey Epstein, and that's about it. The Florida federal magistrate judge who signed off on a search warrant authorizing the FBI raid of former President Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort left the local U.S. Attorney's office more than a decade ago to represent employees of Jeffrey Epstein, who had received immunity in the long-running trafficking investigation of the financier. Sources tell the Post that Judge Bruce Reinhart approved the warrant that enabled federal agents to converge on the palatial South Florida estate on Monday in what Trump called an unannounced raid on my home. Reinhart was elevated to magistrate judge in March 2018 after 10 years in private practice. That November, the Miami Herald reported that he had represented several of Epstein's employees, including, by Reinhart's own admission to the outlet, Epstein's pilots, his scheduler, Sarah Kellen and Nadia Marcinkova, who Epstein once repeatedly described as his Yugoslavian sex slave. Kellen and Marcinkova were among Epstein's lieutenants, who were granted immunity as part of a controversial 2007 deal with federal prosecutors, to say.
Yeah, so this is he was representing those people who are connected to the Epstein case, and now he's a judge, and he's the one that, it's just funny how these connections,
they always happen.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is the issue, like, every time you research this stuff, it's not like you're like, let me just look a little further.
Yeah.
Let me just look a little further. And it always is like, oh, here we go.
Here we go.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you talk about it, conspiracy theorists.
Right.
Yeah.
It's so funny that we can't know who's on that list.
Yeah.
Or who was a part of that list.
Yeah, we're not allowed to know.
Not allowed to know that.
Who's on that list.
Epstein's list.
But it's you think maybe that list might have been in those classified documents that they just seized? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? That might have been a part of what was going on there. I don't want to spread conspiracy theories. Let's keep going with this.
Mug says, wait, what the? This Bruce Reinhart? Here's the story from the Miami Herald. On October 23rd, 2007, as federal prosecutors in South Florida were in the midst of tense negotiations to finalize a plea deal with accused trafficker Jeffrey Epstein, a senior prosecutor in the office was quietly laying out plans to leave the U.S. Attorney's Office after 11 years.
That's what you texted
On that date,
me.
as emails were flying between Epstein's
The
lawyers
story
and
about
federal
this,
prosecutor
you were
Bruce
texting
E.
me.
Reinhart, now a federal magistrate, opened a, I don't know what word that is, limited liability company, that's what it looks like, limited liability company in Florida that established what would become his new criminal defense practice. The stated address, according to Florida State Corporate Records, 250 South Australian Avenue, Suite 1400. It was the same location and identical suite number as that of Epstein's lead attorney, Jack Goldberger. Cue the dun-dun-dun mystery.
Goldberger.
Carry on. By the end of the year, Reinhart had resigned his post in the Southern District of Florida. Within days, on January 2nd, 2008, he was hired to represent several of Epstein's accused accomplices who would later, like Epstein, receive federal immunity for allegedly trafficking underage girls. Reinhart's defection was one of many highly unusual turns that the Epstein case took 12 years ago. Moves that could merit examination as the multimillionaire's controversial non-prosecution agreement is dissected in the wake of his arrest last week on trafficking charges.
So now this is an article by the Miami Herald that was referenced by the New York Post article saying that this is how they connected. This is how they dug up the information about him. Because the Miami Herald wrote an article about why is this guy who was a prosecutor now defending his, people.
Right.
And they dug up the information and found out that he was in the same building, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. As that's what he just went through there. So just showing that context that this was back when Epstein got arrested.
It's not conspiracy.
Yeah, they wrote an article about this back then.
Right.
You know,
he didn't kill himself.
I digress.
Because
when you have powerful,
go ahead.
It's not conspiracy. Like, you know what's conspiracy? Trump being in a picture with Epstein.
Yeah,
that's conspiracy because there's
no context.
There's nothing else to it.
Right.
Like with Clinton, there's other
right.
things that are literally logged.
Yeah.
In planes, right?
Yeah.
To that, like, this is the issue we have because they'll go and run with, oh, look at Trump,
yeah, right?
And that's the thing, like,
yeah,
you can't just run. You don't like somebody, You know, don't just run with it. Like, do your research. What's going on? Because you want to know what's going on.
That's like the picture with, because people always post that picture of Elon Musk with Ghislaine Maxwell. And he, every time he's like, okay, it's a picture of someone was taking of me at an event that she happened to be at, and she photobombed my picture. He was like, why is no one asking why she was invited to that event? Why is no one asking the people who threw the event why she was invited there? I didn't know she was there. She just jumped in a picture with someone was taking of me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But people will say, oh, you took a picture with Ghislaine Maxwell.
You know her.
Yeah.
It's like the Netflix Epstein thing. They showed the Trump picture a few times.
Multiple times.
Did they show a picture of
no.
Clinton?
No. And they barely even mentioned him in the the story. One more video I think I got here.
I digress. When you have powerful, prominent interests, and you see like a prosecutor resign and then go work to defend Epstein, that just rings of a conspiracy. Like, behind the scenes, an arrangement had been made. It doesn't mean that they rule the world or lizard people are everywhere. It just means that people with power use power, and that's the name of the game. So take it all with a grain of salt. But this is important, because I really do wonder if Donald Trump did intentionally take boxes of classified documents. I wonder what those documents pertain to and why. Perhaps it's simple to look at this from the lens of the Hillary Clinton story and say Donald Trump just had records. And you can't do that. But maybe if we want to speculate, what if Trump was digging up leverage? What if this is them discovering what Trump has? I'd like to think there's some grand plot. I really would, but I just don't know. I know all these people were like, Donald Trump's going to be appointed on March 3rd or whatever. And they said all these crazy things that just never happened. The reality that life is much more boring is a reality that many people don't want to admit to. The reality is, it was probably some low-level dude who just carried boxes out and didn't know what they were. And Trump didn't know. That's it. The reality is much more boring than we'd like to admit. But what's happening with Donald Trump is, it's not so boring. And as much as we can say maybe life is more boring than we want to admit, when you look at the circumstances, a president's private residence being raided, we can certainly say we are outside of normalcy at this point, and normalcy bias should go out the window. We want to believe that the simple solution tends to be correct, but the president's home just got raided by the feds. So who? I digress.
Yeah, that's it.
It's with Black Lives Matters and the things that happened with country a few years ago when you're talking about the Summer of Love. It's interesting because you have these, to me it's like low level stuff, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like all the stuff that you see. To me, like everything that the media shows is the low level stuff.
Yeah.
And then everything
mostly peaceful protests with fire blazing in the background.
Right. Well, I'm just saying like the stuff that they
openly show you.
It's a low level because it's just the infighting stuff to get you to not realize that it's the people above and the elite people that are actually orchestrating these things so they can keep you from actually seeing what's happening.
Right.
It's the judges that are in power.
Yeah.
It's the
prosecutors,
it's the senators, it's the governor.
Like DeSantis just fired that one that everyone's going crazy about, and then when you mention that he was appointed by George Soros, you're anti-Semitic or a conspiracy theorist. But then I showed y'all that article that George Soros wrote himself about why he appoints these DAs.
And that's my point is that so he's getting in there and George Soros is influenced. That's what I mean by the elites.
Yeah.
He's influencing people to get for judges and prosecutors to get in there and do these things. And you're wondering why, how did it get so bad? How did these things happen?
Well, when you look at the last election, how did they pass in Pennsylvania something about mail-in voting that totally goes against their own constitutional law in that state?
Right.
Because a bunch of judges that he funded got appointed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Backroom deals.
And there's so much corruption, and we're not looking at it because we're looking at police corruption.
Yeah.
Like, seriously? No, what we need to be looking at is the ones who are leading.
Right.
Because it starts from the top down.
Exactly.
Right? They're looking at the people, the foot soldiers on the...
Right.
Like, not saying there's not corruption.
But that's a symptom of a bigger problem.
Right. Mm-hmm. And we looking at, again...
the branches.
We're looking at the branches. We're looking at the symptoms.
Yeah.
Right? We're not focusing on the roots.
Yep.
The root causes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's time we start focusing on. That's why we're teaching people to focus on the roots here.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, that's how we catch prey, right?
That's how we catch it.
That's how young lions catch prey.
Yeah,
it's going for the root.
Yeah,
and not there's something that, like, we were talking about thinking, right?
Yeah,
I was thinking about this. The love of Christ, being rooted in the love of Christ, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which surpasses all knowledge. Which is connected to more than we can ever ask or think.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? It's more than we could ever ask or think.
Yeah.
When we're rooted in the love of Christ, that's a hope, right? It goes beyond us. It changes our way of asking and thinking. We ask, and James talked about that, like, you ask amiss because your desires are wrong. Right? Because you don't even understand. You want things for your own self and your own selfish desires, right? But when we learn to appreciate where everything comes from, right, as kids, not being spoiled, right?
Yep.
What do spoiled kids do? They just want to take it. They're spoiled, and everything they ask for,
they get. Yeah, they want it.
Well, I'm saying everything they ask for is so they can use it on themselves.
Yeah.
It's not to better other people.
Right.
It's to use it on themselves, and they waste it and they spoil it. I don't want that toy, and then the toy is worthless in a couple weeks because, it's run out. It's run its course. But when we learn to appreciate why, like, I look towards the ones who have set up everything for me and set me in a household that is loving, caring, right? There's things there that keep me, right? When I look towards them, now I'm able to change the way I ask and change the way I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful,
man. Such good perspective, man. Take that with y'all, man. We about to wrap this up. It's a great episode. There's a lot going on in this country, man. We just got to keep talking about truth. We got to keep bringing in the spirit of God. We got to keep focused on the true task. Keep praying, y'all. There's a lot. They're trying to divide us even further and further. That's why you see people being hopeless, talking about national divorce, civil war, all this stuff.
Yeah, it's not over.
It's not over.
It's not over for this country.
Nope. Yeah.
But we can't just say that passively.
Yeah, we have to be actively doing stuff. Yeah. And that's why we're doing this. So we appreciate everybody for watching. We got started a little bit late, so we're going to wrap it up real quick. Listen, patreon.com/youngliontv if you want to become a member. Also, Jatan.com for music and merch. Throw a little cash app to us at $youngliontv. Appreciate y'all for being here tonight. Hopefully we'll be in the absolutely. Hopefully we'll be in the new studio next week. John might have his beard back by then. We'll hope then we can put a camera on him.
He looking like me.
But we appreciate y'all. Seriously, we love you guys. Don't forget to like and share, comment, all that good stuff, and we'll see you guys next week. We out of here.
Young lion, go live, yeah. Young lion, you rich, yeah. This kingdom has room, yeah. Go and fight people in, ooh.